Thank you very much. During our last birthday celebration in 1963, was held right down over the hill here where it used to be the ballpark where the King Collectibles sits. My family was honored when Governor King came all the way from Concord. It was about a 2.5-hour trip back then to present the Boston Post cane to the oldest gentleman in town, which happened to be my grandfather. He was 90 years old at the time. You can imagine as a 12-year-old it was kind of lost on me a little bit, but until just now when I realize our family has been honored again by me being allowed to read the proclamation to start this year's celebration. And it reads as followed. Whereas we are gathered here on this occasion to mark the 250th anniversary of the town of Woodstock, Grafton County, New Hampshire of the United States of America. Whereas Governor Wentworth issued a land grant to a group of colonists in 1763, said colonists first named the land Peeling, after a town in England. Whereas the town of Woodstock recognizes the hard work and sacrifice that the original founders and settlers of Woodstock endured to carve out a community in the wilderness. And whereas the town of Woodstock has enjoyed a long and storied history involving farming, logging, and the lumber industry, and then transitioning into the tourism-based economy. Whereas the town of Woodstock has become known for its hospitality and natural beauty, attributes that are second to none in the White Mountains. And whereas the town of Woodstock is the home of Hubbard Brook Experimental Forest and the White Mountain National Forest, founded in 1955, an outdoor laboratory leading the nation and the world in ecological studies. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen in the town of Woodstock, Grafton County, New Hampshire, by the virtue of the authority invested in us, do hereby honor the town, its inhabitants, and its visitors. We urge everyone to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. In witness whereof, we, the Board of Selectmen, by the hands of this 11th day of July, in the year of our Lord 2013, and of the independence of the United States of America, this 138th year. Thank you all.
District Representative Edmond Jeanette.
Yes, shorten that up a little bit so I can handle it. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here to see today to help celebrate this 250th anniversary of Woodstock. A wonderful thing to do after 250 years. Having lived near here in Lincoln for the last 82 years, I have come to feel like Woodstock is my second home. Whether it's walking through downtown enjoying a scenic hike or just spending time with friends and family, Woodstock has always been a place where lifelong memories are made. The town is truly among the most quintessential New Hampshire town in the state, and although it is known as one of the state's premier tourist destinations, I think that the closeness and tight-knit nature of the community is what really makes it special. You know, in the legislature, people often say that most of the time when big issues come up, you are damned if you do or you're damned if you don't. When it comes to Woodstock, I'm just damn proud to have the honor and privilege to represent each and every one of you. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak here on this special occasion and have a wonderful celebration of the past 250 years. Before going back to meet my colleagues to further recognize Woodstock, I had a declaration prepared from the House of Representatives that I would like to read to you. Let it be known that the New Hampshire House of Representatives, on a very special occasion, publicly does grant to its hearty and sincere congratulations to the town of Woodstock, New Hampshire, in recognition of its 250th anniversary. Whereas on September 23, 1763, Governor Bennington Wentworth issued a charter to incorporate the town of Peeling, later renamed Woodstock. And whereas the Woodstock's most notable natural attractions include the remarkable Lost River Gorge and White Mountains, both instilled with beauty and mystery and tranquility, and whereas Woodstock's early logging industry and later its tourism industry represents on a larger, smaller scale the traditional New Hampshire economy and ensured the growth and stability of their community. And whereas for 250 years the citizens of Woodstock have tirelessly worked to preserve their natural wonders and maintain the small town spirit that is emblematic of New Hampshire. And whereas numerous local organizations and businesses have joined with the town of Woodstock and its residents to organize and commemorate this anniversary. Now therefore be it declared that the New Hampshire House of Representatives, by virtue of the Speaker's signature and inscribed below, extends its highest accolades and plaudits to the town of Woodstock for its 250 years of contribution to the great state of New Hampshire and offers its very best wishes for a well-deserved celebration. Take some of these.
State Senator Jeff Woodburn.
Thank you, Jim. As a former history teacher, I can't help but be amazed at thinking about the spirit of the people that settled this area 250 years ago. And in some ways, as you talk to people, what draws and holds them to this spot in the North Country, you know, that spirit is still with us. And we have a common piece. I come from the town of Dalton, a small little town in Cowas County, and we're one of the few towns in the state, along with Woodstock, that doesn't have any zoning. And there's a community spirit, I think, that makes that happen. It makes people do what's right, what's good, what's connected to their history and to their past, to the responsibility they have, and you certainly feel it along your main street, your highways and byways, and in the hearts of the people. I want to share with you a New Hampshire resolution that was passed, and I'll read it to you if you don't mind. New Hampshire Senate, a resolution, be it known that the New Hampshire Senate extends its congratulations to the town of Woodstock in recognition of celebrating its 250th birthday of being the jewel of the White Mountains, and be it known that the New Hampshire Senate extends its best wishes and continued success on this date, July 11, 2013. Thank you very much.
Executive Councilor Raymond Burton.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Fadden. He's like Mayor Menino, been around a while. It's a pleasure to be here as one of your public servants. 24 years as a Grafton County Commissioner, 36 years as an executive councilor representing places like this. This is history in its making. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be around when we turn the 300th clock here one of these days, about 50 years from now. But it's my honor, as it has been now with 10 different governors in the past 36 years, as a member of the Governor's Council or Executive Council, to represent Margaret Wood Hassan, Governor of the state of New Hampshire. She has a commendation here and points out that logging emerged as a major industry due to the area's lush forests and proximity to the Pemmadrosset River, and Woodstock saw many sawmills established to establish this source of energy. She goes on to point out that Woodstock has had a long tradition in and of tourism, continues to attract and inspire visitors today with its scenic, natural beauty and rural charm. And I might say, to the benefit of elected officials, Edmond Genet, Senator Woodburn, Kelly Ayotte's office being represented by Bud Fitch, those those items that they have worked hard to preserve, the Pemigewasset River, and we as Americans have put billions into restoring our rivers so that if you want to fish in them, swim in them, or even drink the water, because it's now classified as B, they are there. And we're very fortunate that our American government saw fit to do just that. The residents of Woodstock will celebrate their day that the charter was signed, signaling the beginning of their community history, one which predates the founding of the state of New Hampshire. And I'm going to make even this facsimile official right now and sign where Governor Margaret Wood Hassan in the state of New Hampshire, along with myself as executive counselor, proclaim this day here in Woodstock, New Hampshire, and look forward to the next 50 years. And many of us are going to be around, some of you right here. So let's plan a big celebration, Jim. You'll be around for sure. Thank you, Jim, to you and the board. Congratulations.
Bud Finch from Senator Ayott's office.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Senator Ayotte, for one thing, I can assure you that she would prefer to be here tonight than down in Washington, D.C. There's a lot of hot air down there, the weather, temperature, and if she could have been, she would have been with you here this evening, and I have the privilege of representing her and doing a couple of things to recognize your 250th. First, the Senator would like to provide this flag, which was flown over the United States Capitol to the town of Woodstock. There's a certificate here certifying that it was flown over the United States Capitol, and I will provide it to the Selectman, Jim Patton. Second, as you know, at town meeting, you keep minutes. It's a permanent record of all the decisions that you make and any important happenings that occur. In the United States Senate and Congress, there's an equivalent document. It's called the Congressional Record. So it is for the United States of America a record of all very important happenings and actions of Congress that occur. Senator Ayotte has entered into the Congressional Record in honor of Woodstock's 250th the following message, and I'll read it to you in a moment. It starts out, Mr. President, because under the protocol of the Senate, she is addressing the presiding officer of the Senate who carries the title President. It's not the guy that lives in the White House, but the Vice President or some other senator who's presiding. And this entry made to the people of the United States of America about Woodstock reads as follows. Mr. President, today I wish to honor Woodstock, New Hampshire, a town in Grafton County that is celebrating the 250th anniversary of its founding. I am proud to join citizens across the Granite State in recognizing this special milestone. The land that would become Woodstock was granted in a charter by Governor Benning Wentworth on September 23, 1763, and was subsequently named after the English town of Peeling. Governor Wentworth's nephew, John Wentworth, would later rename the town Fairfield after Fairfield, Connecticut. And then in 1840, the town would receive a final name change to Woodstock for Blenheim Palace in Woodstock, England. The population has grown to include over 1,300 residents. The patriotism and commitment of the people of Woodstock is reflected in part by their record of service in defense of our nation. Frank Merrill, a notable summer resident of Woodstock, was the commander of a special World War II unit known as Merrill's Marauders. General Merrill commanded the 5307th Composite Unit during combat operations in Burma throughout the spring of 1944. He later served as the New Hampshire Commissioner of Highways. Woodstock remains largely forested and is home to the world-renowned Hubbard Brook Experimental Forest, where in the 1960s acid rain was first discovered. Also within Woodstock is the famous Lost River Reservation, a portion of the White Mountain National Forest, and a segment of the Appalachian Trail. The abundant timber and access to the power of the Pemigewasset River established logging as the principal early industry in Woodstock. The entrance of the railroad in the 19th century opened the wilderness to development and expansion. This expansion attracted tourists to the town, and tourism remains a vital part of Woodstock's economy, with visitors from near and far traveling to savor the peace and solitude of this special part of New Hampshire. Woodstock is a place that has contributed much to the life and spirit of the state of New Hampshire. I am pleased to extend my warm regards to the people of Woodstock as they celebrate the town's 250th anniversary. United States Senator Kelly Ayotte.
Thank you to all of our gleeing politicians. We appreciate the fact that you've taken time out of your busy days to come here and spend a few minutes with us. I always point out that myself personally have always considered Woodstock, New Hampshire to be the center of the known universe. So everything comes to Woodstock. Now, that pretty much concludes our ceremony to get this thing underway. However, I want to point out that we've had this is only day one of a 4-day event. We have a whole schedule of events that are going to take place over the next few days, and we would encourage people to visit the Visitor Center or headquarters at the General Store just up the street, and folks that are there, volunteers, can instruct you on tickets and so forth that still remain open for many of the events, and the hikes, and all the other things that we have going on. Also, if you're computer literate, you can get on and type in Woodstock250.org, and we have a updated list of events that goes on there all the time. We have a few tickets that are left for the pancake breakfast, the ice cream social,